Been seeing a lot of Dahaka as of late here in the HGC, and BKB himself has been playing Dahaka pretty well. In fact, we're getting to a point where we're going to game number 5 as both of our teams are getting it done.
Yeah, they definitely are. So we had some great games so far, and we have Dragonshire as our last map, and we talked about Dragonshire.
That we did.
Earlier, so Dahaka, I want to see what happens with that.
Yeah, do we see potentially Zealots take it away and force BKB down a different route on the Dahaka, or do we have it banned out? I think I agree with you. It'd be nice to see if this role swap that's happening can be stressed out enough to where Zealots can get a victory out of it.
Also, Dahaka is great on the map if you can take him. So this is a situation where we could definitely see a bit of a switch in mentality for Team Zealots, saying we take, either we ban him or we take Dahaka for ourselves. And once we do that, we are in a spot where we, first of all, push BKB into a different spot, and second of all, take one of the heroes away that he has been constantly relying upon in every single game that was played so far.
He did play Arthas in game number 1 of BOE in that top lane, and that's still a hero that can be worked out, but Arthas again would have a tougher time in that top lane.
Yeah, but again, we talked about that. It's not really that solo lane setup that you usually have on a map like Tomb of the Spider Queen, Dragonshire, for example. So for this map, the solo laner has a lot of importance, and anti-hero was the solo laner for the team. So kind of important to see if they are falling back on anti-hero on the main tank, if they set him to the top lane. And I would definitely play around Dahaka here if I was Zealots.
Gotta agree with you. Here it is.
Well, problem solved. Good guys ban it themselves.
Welcome to the HGC. Here's a 2-minute analysis on what we think about this Dahaka, and Team Good Guys ban it out.
Exactly. So they don't want to take him first. They don't want to go up against him. So
we just got wrecked.
Like, yeah, but I still want to see what happens now.
Yeah, it's true.
Because this is... I mean, we didn't really get wrecked. We're just getting our question answered, and I'm really happy about it. I would have been more upset if Dahaka doesn't get picked and then the good guys pick him, because I want to see how the good guys play outside of that one solution they've been running.
All right, well, let's see what's going to happen here. Zealots thinking about their ban now. Do we want to give it a support and potentially give up Uther? But then there's Ariel floating around. There's Tassadar. We've seen a lot of Ariel from Good Guys in the past. It's actually a bit of a hard one. This throws a big wrench in the plans of what Zealots possibly had coming their way.
Yeah, but for me, it's also a question what now happens at the top lane. Since I thought for sure that the good guys were aiming for the Dahaka again, they early picked him every single time. Now Zealots ban out Tassadar. Do we see the Uther snap pick for the good guys?
That gives Ariel away to Zealots, who have ran it in the past. They think it's pretty strong. I mean, we haven't seen him picked very often, but Poik, again, one of those hyper carries that can do well. It's Dragonshire.
But what else were you going to take? You take the Oriole and your opponent picks Uther Genji?
It's true.
So it has to be either Genji or Uther. If you give the combo away of the two, then no other hero really stands to me out on the same level as those two. Oriole is strong, but then you give up something. Wow. All right. Let's see how that works out.
They did give away Uther Genji in the past, Team Good Guys, so it seems like they feel like they can control it. So the thought process here is go into Ariel and have a strong 4-man.
I'm definitely curious how that works out. I mean, you have to take Uther at this point. That's a given. Genji, you could let slide if you wanted to, since you have Uther as a turner, but Uther is a must-pick at this point.
Do remember, Zealots, they ran their Cassia composition in the past here with Uther, Ariel, and it's one of their staples for Dragonshire. So maybe Team Good Guys thinks that Ariel is that main foundation for that.
So as expected, the Uther pick, they go away from Genji but pick Nubarak. They have Uther, so they can counter Genji to an extent. Also, with an Oriole comp, we sometimes just see him let go through or banned out in the second spot. And there's the Lunara and the Stitches. Okay, so we are finally back to them running more of their normal style here. So if there's going to be an Illidan, if they actually commit to an Illidan, then it has to be... That could be the reason why the Hawkeyes spent out, that they put BKB on the Stitches and they just say, okay, Illidan or Malthael is now being used by anti-hero.
For the top lane. So we see how they are going to set up for that. Okay, well now it's about bans. If you're Zealots and you're seeing the lineup for Team Good Guys, you've obviously, or should have done your research. Do you just ban out the Illidan here?
You could.
Just let it happen?
Ban the Illidan, pick Malthael for yourself. That would definitely one way to deal with it. I think that there's a good chance that they are picking a Malthael. Question is, what are the good guys banning out? Are they banning Malthael, for example, or are they really targeting Genji since he's still open and the good guys have the potential for the pick?
It's going to be Arthas. Banned out.
Huh.
Maybe, let's think about the thought process. Maybe they're thinking, okay, BKB still being the top laner, and the only thing that we've seen so far is Dahaka and Arthas. Maybe that was their thought process here.
I mean, it could be that they're not going down that path. Again, we talked about them switching their roles a little bit. This is also, I mean, this is a shot in the dark. We're of course speculating here, thinking, okay, what happens if on this map the good guys fall back on Anti as the solo laner and BKB running the Stitches? Because if you assume that they're not falling back on this and that they run BKB at the top lane, then banning out Arthas makes a lot more sense. Since you would more so target BKB as the top laner than anti-hero.
Well, third and fourth pick coming up for the Zealots. Chromie has been banned out. This gives two options to Team Good Guys. They can move into double support if they want to, but also allow Ariel to be a solo support. The Chromie, if you are facing off against a solo support Ariel, usually Ariel has a hard time. There's the Greymane, and Zealots take away the Illidan.
Okay, so we have the Illidan taken. Normally, when in the past, with the old role setup, that happened, the Good Guys picked Malthael for the top lane. But Illidan now taken away from the Good Guys, and I'm pretty sure that's one of the heroes they would have liked to take. So, Malthael Rhaegar. If they go into that double support with Lunara, that was definitely one of their picks of old.
Do they maybe go into Malfurion again just to get the roots here, or is that awkward with Ariel?
I mean, I guess you could. The good thing that you have with the Rhaegar is that he has just that sustainable heal there, but overall, Malfurion, if they feel confident with that and they want the lockdown against Stitches, they can do it. Lunara, on the other hand, has a slow, so...
Yeah. She gets it done just as well. So 9 seconds of counting, we will get our fourth and fifth pick. It's going to be the Brightwing.
Okay.
And Malthael.
There we go. Malthael taken. That has to be anti-hero on the Malthael, right?
Yeah,
so
100%.
they switched back in their roles. So this is basically the draft that they played and that we've been talking about so much. And every time one hero gets banned or picked away, they substitute with another. So in this case, they wanted to play the Illidan composition. They don't get it because Zealots play him. So now they take Malthael instead. They don't get the Uther. Normally they substitute with Rhaegar. And in this case, they choose Brightwing just because they have the global on the map as well. And Brightwing has, of course, the option to jump to the top or bot depending on the situation and controls Illidan better than Rhaegar does.
She controls dive in general just so well. I love the adjustment with the Brightwing. I'm actually kind of happy to see her back in the picks for most of our teams. We saw a lot of it from Dig, but now we're seeing it from more teams often. And also that slight change to her makes her pretty decent against mages too. She can handle some poke in the early game compared to what she used to.
Quick public service announcement here. Brightwing so far, at least in Europe, has been to 90% picked in double healer comps. She's not really that solo healer. Very, very rarely do you see that, and usually it's around full global comps as Fnatic ran against Dignitas, for example, at the mid-season brawl. But also, that only had, I think, a 30% win ratio. It was the most important game, the most important win, but still, Brightwing more so a double support.
Genji, the final pickup. Dive central here for Zealots.
Yep.
They're looking to get those picks, trying to isolate maybe the Brightwing here or even the Lunara. If you kill one of those two, this composition will fall apart for the opposing team. Team Good Guys will have a hard time recuperating from that. But there is always a chance here for Polymorph, and then of course Emerald Wind. Emerald Wind has been picked up very often as of late for the double support Brightwing, and Emerald Wind is great for stopping those, I guess, laser focus coordinations.
So apparently we have a little bit of a beetle battle happening here. So Abathur was a little bit annoyed that he didn't get picked today, and he just slapped the Nubarak out of there. And was like, get that out of here. Abathur main tank, so he's going to be up at that front, slapping away, getting the Divine Shield. There's nothing so scary as a Divine Shield at Abathur when he just is right in your face, ready for the slap.
It's pretty good, man. I've ran an Abathur with a Morales into a stem drone, and I actually was able to take a boss. It's pretty good. It's pretty strong. It's good. You should try it sometime. Let's do it. Let's go into game number 5 here. Team Good Guys taking on the Zealots. Will Brightwing be able to handle the pressure of the Zealots as they have 3 amazing divers?
The final map is Dragonshire, game number 5, as we see Kronos on his healer, this time playing to the left for the Good Guys on Oriel. Xay on Brightwing with the double support. We have Anti-Hero on Stitches and BKB. No reverse into the old roles. BKB plays a solo lane with Malthael and Raid Boss on Lunara.
I was going to put money on that. I'm glad I didn't. Yeah. I like my money. Well, on the right side, the red team is going to be Zealots here. It's going to have Mopsio playing Poi playing Greymane, Zarmni on Illidan, doing intros. Shad on Genji, and Grandpa on Uther. And please leave my money alone. Keep your money, pig. I'll keep my money.
Okay. So right now, it's actually interesting because we've been talking about this wall swap on the side of Team... the wall swap on the side of Team Good Guys. Putting Anti-Hero into the main tank role and BKB now on the solo laner. But for this map with those heroes, we actually really had a bit of an inkling that they would fall back onto the old setup to give Anti-Hero that also important top lane, since as a solo laner he just simply excels. But BKB is now up to the challenge here in such an important map, the final map of the best of 5 series. And together with Brightwing, they are pushing back Illidan, as the rest of the team is not even rotating between mid and top, but simply trying to hold the experience.
Yeah, it really tells me here that Team Good Guys does believe that eventually this role swap is how they're going to get their victories and continue to do well here in the HGC. If they have that Malphio being played by BKB in the top, we'll see if it's going to work out for them. As Anti keeps going out for the hooks, I do like that they have Brightwing in the top with the Malphio. First off, Malphio is a pain in the rear already in solo lanes, but that Brightwing will make it worse. They'll be able to push in and be aggressive, and they're going to be able to hold down their middle lane pretty decently. Unless Anti gets picked up here, he's being body blocked, and he is not getting past his gate.
Yeah, a nice 4-man gank that we had here immediately, and he's just not able to break through that. So this opens up a push for the Zealots through the mid lane, taking the first tower, and therefore, of course, also establishing themselves another lead in experience. It's a small one, but taking those towers down is important, and it also, of course, drains the ammunition of the second.
Brightwing continues to be in the top lane. They'll be able to hold that shrine. At some point, Zealots may have to pull someone up there to try and hold down that shrine, but they don't have to worry about it too much. In fact, they're actually going to go and do it now. They're taking Uther up there with Poik. BKB does scatter out. Zay is the target, and Zay is gone.
Yeah, things this early on do not really work out for the Good Guys yet. Now, their comp is, of course, also very, very late game heavy when there's a lot of poke happening from Lunara and when Malthael is also jumping in. In the late game, when Malthael has his level 16 in particular, it's going to be very rough for Uther to get all those heals in to deal with the overtime damage that Malthael and Lunara provide. But the idea of the Zealots is to try and snowball this a little bit earlier, trying to get an advantage by diving hard and get those kills, and so far, they got 2.
Success is going well for him. They're going in. Mopsio again with another body block. Mopsio holding down Anti. There goes the Impale. And again, another pickoff here for the Zealots. They are just finding kills at every opportunity. 3-0. The bad news is Team Good Guys were able to grab both shrines, but as long as they keep someone in the middle, the dragon shouldn't go to anyone.
And also, they miss out on a bit of experience because at the top lane, the wave was pushed in. So they get the kills, but at the same time, with them committing 4 heroes to every single rotation to get one of these snipes, they are missing out on shrine control, as you said, and they're missing out on some of the lane experience. Not to a crazy extent, they still get ahead in EXP overall, but they have to be careful that it just doesn't mount up.
There's always a trade-off of getting kills early, where you push in your opponents and you force them to start playing a little bit more safer, and when they play safer, you're able to do mercenary camps without any contention coming your way. And we're already seeing that right now. Giants in the bottom right were grabbed. The Merc camps at the top right are also being grabbed by the Zealots. This is their way of opening and grabbing that advantage and pushing it forward, which this will allow for them to do 2 things. Either A, go for a push and put more damage on a fort, or B, try to go for that shrine control they've been missing out.
Yeah, right now the Good Guys, they just need to play the safe and patient because the map control is going to the Zealots. And it's a little bit, it's not quite to the extent where we had in Zebo on the map where you have to wait for level 20 to be effective, but it's a little bit the same game. You need to be super careful against the aggression out of your opponent, and as you pick up your later talents, you have just so much power. And Anti-Hero, I mean, he is just a punching ball in this series. Every single time they try to gank him in the mid lane, he has the most vulnerable position, of course, as well, but they are really, really trying to take him down.
Caldor, don't take this a bad way, but I have to ask you, punching ball, are punching balls like a legit thing in Europe, or are you talking about punching bags?
Both are legit.
Punching balls? I've never heard of a punching ball.
Really?
Yeah, what do? You like the little speed ball? Is that what you're talking about, the little like punching bags that are on the top?
Yeah, they're also called punching balls.
Okay.
The speed balls, they're pretty similar to that.
Today I learned. I don't know, man. I just wanted to make sure, you know?
I mean, I'm fine with both. You're more comfortable when I talk about punching bags, and I can do that too.
I need to look up a punching ball. I'm gonna go ahead and Google it as soon as I get home, man. I've never heard of them.
You should buy one. They're fun.
Yeah, I want a yoga ball. I figure they're really nice.
A yoga ball?
Yeah, because they're really nice for your posture when you're playing computer games.
Oh, oh, dude, forget it. You were gonna play a lot worse. I tried that once.
I mean, it might be
just
worth
hopping
it.
around the entire time. It's believe me, I tried out.
I'm going to try it out. It might be good for my back, man. You know, when I'm carrying people in Hero League.
It might be good for your back. It might be really bad for your rank.
Well, a dragon has been grabbed, and Zealots continue the pressure. They get 9.5, almost a 9 on Team Good Guys. They break down the top lane, and they're also grabbing turrets. They're in a great spot here to move towards level 10. The bad news is they grab the dragon before level 10, so they might not be able to get too much if Team Good Guys play safe here and just hold down their forts.
For the Good Guys, this is really... Oh, look at this. Invade again. Nice attempt. Xay is about to die. Maybe not. Ah, there we go. All right, so they go really deep for it, and Grandpa in particular was very willing to commit to this. But just look how they are always roaming us for. They do that the entire time. They go on a lane, they target it, they have immediately the stun available. There's also, of course, with their heroics now, the hunt ready for them. And the early game is completely theirs. Now, the Zealots are crushing the Good Guys in the early game. They're playing this exactly the way they need to play it. The big question is just, will the Good Guys be able to start a comeback after level 10, and then especially towards the later stages of the game when they have more tools to poke against the limited heal that we are, or limited area of effect heal that we are seeing from Uther.
Yeah, they definitely have the anti-dive with Aegis coming on. I'm assuming it's going to be the Emerald Win for the Brightwing at level 10, which will be good for them to make sure they force Zealots to spread out in the middle of fights, which will allow Lennar to spread out that poison. So I can see them making that comeback. It's just a matter of, yes, you're right. Can they stop the structure bleeding that keeps to occur? Because Zealots, they have not let up yet. Now with 10 hitting, they're still not letting up. They're moving in.
Yeah, they're going in once again. They're making really good decisions, and they are currently trying to make the best out of every single kill they have or every single camp they take. Just pressuring the walls even more, draining them of ammunition and pushing through. They have still 4-0 kills, and they're currently a level ahead. But look how aggressive all of a sudden the Good Guys get now that they have level 10 available. They're just simply invading the opponent's camp. They know Illidan is at the top lane. He could hunt, of course. But they are absolutely willing to make this play now. Especially since they have a cleanse available for Brightwing where they can cleanse out the hunt, or they can simply use Auriel's ult.
Love seeing stuff like that. That's a display of you understanding what your composition can and will do. And they move in, grab those giants, and they now have the pressure on their opponents. Their opponents will go ahead and pop that up, but they grab the Trident on the bottom. Now it's all about the dance. They have to dance safely and around their teammates because they always have to watch out for the hunt. If anyone is slightly out of position and Zealots catch it, they can move in with a cursed bullet and take them out.
Yeah, top lane, talking about taking out targets at the top lane, Brightwing is very, very patiently trying to get the experience here. But here's the hunt. This is exactly what we expected. Oh! Taking out targets, but as it looks, it might actually be Shadow Falls. Gets pushed into the towers. Brightwing nearly 1 versus 3ing the Zealots here. I hate that Fairy Dragon.
Confirmed best support in the game. Please solo support with their first pick if you can. All right, so Team Good Guys dancing around the side here, waiting for the pressure to come in on the Shrine. BKB is set up, though. He wants to fight.
Yeah. BKB wants to fight, and so does Brightwing, going in again. Emerald Wind, of course, is not ready yet. But still, they have the tools that they need in case that Illidan moves in. The problem is they have no level 13 talent, so they still need to be a bit careful here. But of course, their main goal right now is to prevent another Dragon Knight from happening.
Yeah, they committed all 5 down here, so Illidan responded by grabbing the Merc camps on the top left, and that will push in and force somebody to go back. They can send Brightwing. She's going to need her phase shift up, and it won't be up for, what, another 20 seconds here? So we'll see if she'll be able to grab that to even close in. We do have a hook straight onto Mopsio. He's able to get away, and the Dragon easily gets picked up by Zealots.
Yeah, the Good Guys gave this one up. Again, for them, it's really about waiting until their heroes hit power spikes, waiting until they hit 13, ideally 16, and then try and win team fights. They know that at that point, they just have a lot more tools available to them. With Malthael getting his stacks together, with also, of course, the Lunara being a bit saved after 13. So they are trying to win the big fights, and they are willing to sacrifice the early game for it. But here's immediately the Cocoon as a follow-up to Malthael. And, okay, Hook not hitting home. Good Cocoon here as well. And a nice adjustment, by the way. We talked about Locust Swarm taken on Tomb of the Spider Queen by the Zealots. In this situation, against Malthael, they need Cocoon.
Just to stop that, Tormented Souls. Gosh, I almost say Maelstrom every single time I see that animation. Very similar to Kerrigan. But yes, the Tormented Souls being handled there by the Anubrak. They break down the turret in the middle. They should be able to commit to the fort on the bottom, too. It's pretty low. Team Good Guys looking for a fight, keep going for hooks. Hooks do not connect, and Shad starts walking away. Yeah,
Shad trying to poke with a shuriken. It's actually funny how fast that's sealed out by Brightwing. And of course by by Oriel here as well. But it's all about the camps here still, and it's still a level lead. It's one level. You can dance around that. You can work around that. So the good guys, they are behind the entire time, but it's not by much. And the main goal of the Zealots has to be at some point to break through and get a keep. And of course the Dragon Knights scale over time, but if the good guys just are able to wait it out and then take a big fight later on even Talons, they can definitely use that. BKB is taken out though, because the Cocoon is once again hitting the front line there. Oriel also low. Dragon Blade comes through. Divine Shield as well. Kronos low, but it could be the end of Genji actually. He zips away and taps the fountain and is going to survive. Barely.
Wow, just barely getting that fountain there. Jumping over the wall. And we saw BKB get focused down by Malthael. And the moment that Genji and Divine Shield came out, Brightwing, I know we talked about her being good against Genji, but she can't do anything in that scenario. They had to run away and try to dodge on the Dragon Blades. As soon as the Divine Shield went away, the Polymorph came out, and that was almost a kill. Hang on, though, Illidan getting picked up in the middle.
Yeah, he was not prepared for that.
No, he was not, Tyler. Okay. Brightwing also in trouble, though. She drops down the Ice Block. Kronos is here with a heal. Can he keep her alive? Zay's dancing. Zay does not get out.
Yeah,
though.
and Kronos is now on the wrong side of this battle.
Flanking Ariel, but Indy does come in and brings out the helping hand.
I'm not quite sure if that's enough, though. That fight is still ongoing, and every time we see the Tormented Souls pop, there is an immediate Cocoon. Kronos is low, anti-hero 2. Kronos heals himself. Malthael tries to get away here. Oh god, the hook!
Was denied by the Aegis?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
Oh, that's tilting.
Both teams being a little bit off, but Zealots still getting the upper hand in these fights, 16-14, and they're in a spot to grab the dragon. They have two people in the bottom to grab the shrine. Illidan's already in the middle to grab the dragon and push in, and this is where they want to start getting advances toward keeps.
Yeah. One level was okay. Now they're 2 levels behind in a talent, and that's when things are starting to really hurt. So for the good guys, I really think they didn't have to take all of these fights, but a few of the decisions were a bit off. Oriel dancing to the right side of that fight, that only works out if you win that fight significantly. That's the only way how you can end up in a good spot there. And it all started with them killing Illidan. That should have been their battle. It should have been a really good fight for them, even after we have a 4 versus 4 happening there. So this got a little bit awkward really fast. 16 talent would help team Good Guys still, but let's see how this is going to work out. Brightwing wants the experience at the top lane and is going to move in. It's all about trying to save the key, but just look at that poke. Kronos himself already super low.
Kronos gonna have to tap here. They're gonna go ahead and commit to Brightwing coming in the bottom. They do not have 16 yet. They are close. The wave won't get them fully there. There they go. They finally get the 16. Zarmony in the middle is taking the damage here. Everyone's being poked down by Raid Boss. Is that spike where Lenara can be quite the threat here. And everyone from Zealots are running while BKB is actually getting a Tormented Souls off.
Tormented Souls, but immediately the Cocoon is being used again. Zarmony also is about to fall here. Mopsio is, Zarmony are falling on the Dragon Knight and Mopsio nearly dying, but not quite. The hunt away. Antihero might have, there's the Pulverize. Does he have the hook?
He goes
yes,
for
he
it.
does, and that's the end of Mopsio. It should be.
Mopsio taken out. So we do have one member falling from the Zealots. The keep did get taken away as Zealots were able to commit fully towards it. So Team Good Guys gonna have to make some progress on the map here with their 16 pushing on the fort, working towards the keep wall as well.
I'm actually not quite sure if Malthael, if I'm actually going to use Tormented Souls. Why would you?
They never use it.
Why would you actually use Tormented Souls if you know that this is the only thing that a Nubarak is waiting for? I would just simply disregard it. If he cocoons you earlier, then after you are out of the cocoon, you have Tormented Souls. And if he doesn't do it, then at least you don't spend the time in the cocoon.
There's always a thought of a Nubarak turning around and engaging and dropping cocoon earlier than killing someone. Maybe they just want to get it used earlier. Hang on though, the hunt comes out and Anti just gets destroyed.
Yeah, Anti gets taken down here right away. I don't think that you are willingly baiting out the cocoon by using the Tormented Souls. The value that you get out of it is just too much. So right now, once again, this is the chase, and this is the problem if you're going up against this comp. You lose one, you lose all. This is the double and triple. Now they're going for Lunara. It's an entire quad kill, and it's nearly level 20. And
that's game.
That's an open core. Yeah, that should be game at this point. Brightwing doesn't have the Emerald Wind any longer. They have 5 heroes on the map against 1. And the death timers are long enough that with especially Illidan and Greymane, they should be able to make this play.
Team Good Guys coming out here and feeling like they needed to get a win against Zealots, and they will not do so. The Zealots continue to improve as a roster, and they go straight to the core, drop it down to 20, dropping it down to 10. Stitches will spawn, but it's too late. GG as Zealots win the series.
Yeah, Zealots take it. Impressive. Great fight here in the end as well. I think the Good Guys were trying to take their battles a little bit too soon. They should have waited a bit earlier. The kill against Illidan looked strong, but then they lose too many heroes on the camp. And once the keep was down, that's the win condition. They were aggressive, drop a new Burak, but then they lose anti-hero who gets completely blasted away. And you can't run away from Genji, Illidan, Greymane, and Uberak. This just doesn't work.
Yeah, the late game compositions, they're not too shabby, but you got to make sure in the early game that you play a little bit better. There were way too many kills that probably shouldn't have happened there. I like the adjustment of putting Malthael and Brightwing in the top to survive, but you got to have that Brightwing play a little bit more defensive. And in the middle, you can't have your Stitches moving into the middle of the lane. I know Yanti was trying to soak and get that experience, but you got to play it safe from there because we saw what happened. Every single time, Zealots took the momentum they had, came in and got kills and put their opponent way too far behind.
I still would really like to see what happens if, in those situations, Malthael just simply doesn't use Tormented
Doesn't ever
Souls.
use it.
I mean, why would you? You know that immediately when you use it, the cocoon comes out and you lose it right away. If you don't use it, then there's basically two scenarios that can happen. Either at some point, Mopsio is going to be forced to use the cocoon anyways against you, especially if you start to target him. So he might have to use it because he needs to go away. Once that happens, the same scenario is still true. Your allies still have to break you out of the cocoon. The big difference is now you have your ult available and you can clean up house. If he doesn't use it, then you don't lose anything. You are not in cocoon, so you don't lose the cocoon time. So I think at this point when you know, I mean, he did it every single fight after 10. Every fight they're trying to use the Tormented Souls, that's immediately the cocoon. I would have just waited. There's no downside to it.
Yeah, I think one of the ways that could have been a little bit more efficient of using it too is you call out the Brightwing, say, hey, I'm going in. The Brightwing can phase shift in, coming with you, make the opponent win, split people out, and then you can continue not to use that Maelstrom. But I do know that when you're playing Malthael, you use it because you want to go in and force a fight with the Tormented Souls.
Yeah, okay, but he forces the fight anyways as he goes in, and then it's simply Tormented Souls, Cocoon, and it's like happened 4 times, I think.
Yeah.
So it's like at some point, just wait. Wait until he uses Cocoon, because then if you can fight with Tormented Souls, you are wrecking the setup. Especially since you have a Lunara for damage over time, you have the Malthael for damage over time, and Uther just sits there, what the hell am I supposed to do with that? So he gets the initial heals in, and then he's done. But anyways, I think overall, this is not what lost in the game. I really think on the last map, their shot calling was a little bit worse than what we've seen on the previous map, especially when we were looking, for example, at what they pulled off on Infernal Shrines. So I think overall, the shot calling was actually getting better after the first map, but I think the sync on the last on Dragonshire was a little bit off. I mean, that was little things. The Oriel ult as the helping hand comes out to try and get Malthael back in. That was a bit unfortunate. But just overall, the calls, which fights to take, where to go, was unfortunately for them a little bit off. They were playing for the late game. Didn't really get it.
Still a good series between both of our teams here. Obviously, our Crucible teams that have come all the way up, and there's progress happening on both sides. It just seems like the Zealots are moving a little bit more forward as they're going to get their 3rd win of this phase. Now, speaking of the 3rd win, we also have Shad here to talk about the entire victory. Shad, welcome to the show, and congratulations on your victory today.
Hello, thank you very much.
Shad, let's go ahead and talk about it, man. You and, of course, the Good Guys coming in through the Crucible. It's been 5 full weeks of really hard games, 7 in total. How does it feel to be this far in, halfway through, and how's the team feeling morale-wise?
I think we're going pretty good on morale. I think we have improved quite a lot on our gameplay in general. And I think the league is helping us improve a lot as a team in general.
How much better is it to actually have these scrims all the time against these top-tier teams in the HGC compared to what you were dealing with in the Open Division? Is it something that you guys go in every game and you learn something new, or has it been more difficult? What's it feel like?
It's much better, of course. I think especially the best part is having actual real and hard competition every weekend.
Awesome. Very cool. I'm going to send you over to Caldor.
Well, first of all, congratulations. You guys played well today, and especially coming back after losing on Infernal Shrines with 3% on the opponent's core. That must have been a bit annoying. I wanted to ask you what your goals are now for the... Phase 2, Part 1 is over, and you guys find yourself in a decent spot. You picked up towards the end of the last 2 weeks. with that being said, what's your goal now for the second part? Is this simply just to establish yourself in the middle of the rankings and to avoid the Crucible, or are you aiming higher?
Yeah, I think our goal in general should be to do similar results to what we did now. We got 3 wins, 1 against Liquid, which is especially good, I think. And yeah, if we can manage to get the 3rd spot, would be awesome. We will try.
All right, thank you.
Speaking about Team Liquid, you guys got the victory against them a couple weeks ago. You got the 3-0. But you'll be facing off against them when we come back for part 2 of Phase 2. And while they'll be at the Western Clash training, what are you guys going to do to prepare for the match?
Well, we will scrim as well. I mean, we'll prepare the best we can. We will scrim a lot. We will prepare something for them, and we will study their matches on the Western Clash, which is something good for us, I think, that we can watch them.
Awesome. Great to hear from you, Shad. Before I let you go, the floor is yours for shoutouts.
Well, we shout out, of course, my teammates for being great, played very well today. Shout out to everyone who watches us, the Twitch chat, everyone who supports us. Yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you.
Awesome. Congratulations to Zealots to get a victory over the Good Guys. And the Good Guys, unfortunately, get another loss today. They'll be in the bottom 2 with the Playing Ducks. And the Playing Ducks now have a chance to start moving up in the standings too here, as they'll be facing off against Fnatic next, which that'll be a hard series for them. I'm trying to say it in the best way possible.
I mean, you're not wrong. It's a chance.
Yeah, it's a chance. It's one of those. Because Fnatic has just been dominant this entire season. It seems like since the mid-season brawl, Fnatic has just found their groove.
Yeah, but as Fnatic said, if you look at the lineup of the Ducks, it's very surprising to see them in the last spot. There is I saw them on number 4, competing with maybe one other team for the number 4 spot with Expert, but I never thought that they would be at the end of the rankings. I think that's absolutely crazy. So I think for them, it's a big mental block, and once they break through that, I think their results are going to become way, way better than what we're seeing right now, because the talent is there.
Yeah.
They just need to make sure that they are on the same page with their decisions, and that they get through that mindset that they have right now, where in crucial moments, things just don't work out for them.
Well, we'll see if they can get through it here, as we'll be right back after this commercial break with the Playing Ducks as they take on Fnatic.